right, here's another example of what's behind the drywall when you have a leak. So you can see I cut out the drywall. This is directly behind the shower, but it was leaking right there at the elbow where I'm getting ready to cut. And yeah, that was soldered on. And for whatever reason, earthquake, erosion, settling of the building, caused a crack and the pipe started leaking. So here I'm using the oscillating tool to cut out the pipe. And there are the cup links and 90-degree elbows for the ProPress. It's a great tool. And I'm going to deburr the pipes, get all the rough edges off the end of the pipes, get it ready for the cup link and the 90-degree elbow. I want to make sure it's smooth because if you have any sharp edges when you're putting those connecting pieces on, it'll damage the O-ring inside and you won't have a proper seal. Got to get it nice and smooth. This bottom piece did have a bit of a soldering drip at the end that I had to kind of cut out. I had to trim it off a little bit. That pipe was very close to the housing for the shower cartridge, so I had to minimize my cut and use whatever pipe was left right there. But here I am, carefully getting that little solder drip off the bottom. Gonna go back and deburr it again, get it nice and smooth, removing all the rough edges, and I'm feeling with my hand to make sure it's smooth. Then on goes the 90-degree elbow. Right there, you just slip it on. These are ProPress fittings, so you'll see the ProPress in action here in a little bit, but these are really convenient. Super, super convenient and save so much time. Here I'm just aligning everything up, making sure that it's gonna fit. Put that coupling on. And so with any fitting using a ProPress, you want to use the end of the pipe. You can see right here, I'm measuring the end of the pipe to go directly in the middle of the coupling. So you don't go too high up or too far down to where that O-ring doesn't hit the pipe. You have to have a good seal. Okay, that pipe was too long to even get in there to measure. I'm just gonna do rough cuts. So I'm gonna cut the pipe in half so I can fit it in there and do a rough measurement. This is a 1/2-inch copper pipe. Now it's short enough for me to put it in there and do a rough a rough measurement. I'm gonna mark it with my pen. Get my copper cutters, if I can find them. Where'd you go? There you are. Also a convenient tool. Gives it a nice clean cut. Now I have the rough cut measurement pipe. The rough measurement cut pipe. I'm just cleaning up the ends, getting all the burrs off of them, making it nice and smooth. Now I'm gonna put it together and make sure it looks good. Convenient thing about these ProPress fittings is you just put everything together kind of like Legos and make sure everything fits and is in place before you actually crimp it to where it's permanent. Making sure everything looks good, got everything lined up, feels good, and now on to the ProPress. Gonna wrap those jaws around the big groove on the ProPress end, the coupling end. Pull the trigger, and it crimps it nice and tight, making a permanent seal. Doing each end of the cup link. Again, ProPress tools are super convenient. Going to do the 90-degree elbow cup ProPress fitting, and you can see that copper pipe in the way. That's just a little protective pipe. I'm going to remove it. I try to do whatever I can without doing too much removing or destruction. But this one had to come off so I could reach that last crimp I needed on the 90-degree elbow. I'll put it back, don't worry. Last crimp. And that's it. Now it's nice and solid. That's it. ProPress fitting.